just went black on there. because I think I have been very open about who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
And so when this problem started, at first I was like, yeah, because I know this. So that means I'll be an underdog podcaster, just like I was an underdog gallerist. But the thing is, this wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
This thing with the podcasting.
So I just got a notification from everybody, and apparently they didn't hear my 4-minute rant. And I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
I'm literally going to tear you apart again because
Lord.
everyone missed that right there. And luckily, thank you, Leslie, for coming in and telling me that the audio wasn't coming in. But holy shit, I am sorry. You guys missed it. I ripped Boris a new one. And I hate to do it to you, brother, but I'm going to do it again if that's cool with you. And this all comes out of love. This all comes out of respect between us. But there were a lot of things that people came up to me and were like, bro, what the hell? And welcome everybody to the one-on-ones. My name is Patricio, sitting down with Boris Garbe from Mills Gallery, and podcaster, local influencer. You do a lot here in Central Florida.
I try.
And on top of that, you do get a lot of recognition. One of which that I want to talk about is the Orlando Magazine 2022 Best of that came out earlier, about 2 months ago. And the one thing that got my attention was the best local podcasters. And I came up on the list in number 3, which I was shocked. I didn't even know I was nominated.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2, Melissa Winston for What a Day Kids, which is a great show.
Amazing.
I highly recommend for listeners to tune in on that one. But the one that got me was you getting number 1 podcaster here in Central Florida. And I was like, that's awesome. I know you've done a couple of things. I know you've done a lot. And it was cool because you're my buddy, you're my pal, and it's cool to get that kind of recognition. But then as the day went on and people were started hitting me up, like, how is it that I've never heard of this guy or seen so many of any of his podcasts that he's the number 1 podcaster? I had no response to that one. I know you do a lot of stuff. I know you're involved in a lot of projects, but at the same time, like, for you to get number 1 podcaster, that's a big deal for podcasters here in Central Florida. And not trying to attack your success, not trying to attack you as an individual, but like, what is it that you're doing that other podcasters are not? Because clearly you're getting the recognition, and clearly you're getting like the media. You're getting their attention. What is it that you're doing that we're not?
Well, okay. So I've worked in 3 podcasts. Now, the first one was The Experience with Chris Fio. And I honestly think because of Chris's very tragic passing, that maybe the media took a little pity on me. I don't know. You know,
Okay.
they I was heartbroken. You know, I mourned him loud and very proud. You know,
we cried on each other's shoulders for days.
Yeah, I know. And remember, I will talk about that later tonight. I still wanted to do a project with the Orlando podcast community where we come together, if it's possible, to honor Chris. So my intentions have been good all along.
Mm-hmm.
What I am doing differently is I am very hungry for success. I advertised the votes. I asked people to vote. You know, Orlando Magazine was created to showcase the very best of Orlando, not just for us, but worldwide. It's a way to bring tourists. And the people who do Orlando Magazine, they're young. They have their finger on the pulse. So for the last 7 years, they've had a best podcast category because it's something that's big. And again, I want to point out to my fellow podcasters that this is not like the Academy Awards. I was not voted on by podcasters or nominated by podcasters. I was voted on by friends, family, and fans of the gallery.
Yeah.
You know, that it's completely different, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Is it fair? I mean, you know, are you going to ask me, do I think I'm the number 1 podcaster in town? No, I'm not. But I'm very honored by this success. And yeah, I'm a little nervous because I feel like I'm here backpedaling and apologizing for my success, but my intentions are good.
Yeah.
You and I have come up with a solution, which we're going to share in the end. But I get it. I get it. I wasn't happy that Melissa got some of that anger brunt against her, and when she was here to talk about it, she was, I thought her answer was perfect. She's like, I'm not doing it for likes. I'm doing it for the children.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't say that, but I get it.
It's a lot to swallow, and I also got a bit of that hatred as well from other podcasters who do multiple shows, multiple daily shows, things like that. And believe me, I got the same heat. And then it kind of came to me. I'm like, well, bro, I do a lot, but I'm also out there a lot. I sell myself. I advertise. I'm constantly trying to keep myself in the scope that is Orlando.
Mhm.
Whether it's going to functions, galas, events, parades. It's all about like
Exactly.
just being out there. And I remember you, Boris. Like I remember you putting out there, and that's the thing. Like I don't think there's a day goes by where you don't post something about a project you're working on or something you got coming up or glorifying someone else's work. And you've built a network, you've built a support system that, I mean, for Christ's sakes, bro, you got the top three podcasts are the Dis Unplugged, All Things Disney,
Yeah.
Tenor and Toneless. It's about classical music, and then What a Day Kids. You produce two out of the three best top podcasts in Orlando,
As voted by the readers of Orlando Magazine.
as voted by the readers of Orlando Magazine.
Yeah.
But like, you have a great connection with uh with the people, not with the Orlando Magazine in general, but like with people out there. You are a part of many events that happen here. You are part of a bigger society than I that not many of us are. Not, I don't want to say privy to, but like cater to or are part of, in a sense. I don't know if I'm saying that the right way.
Well, I think what I'm hearing here is that maybe are you implying that maybe I'm a little more in with the higher ups, therefore they're paying attention to me? Because I'd like to point out that I- the podcast that has that made me the number one podcaster is a podcaster that attacks classical music.
Hmm.
It's not like I'm doing something that's pure entertainment. I mean, Tenor and Toneless is a dangerous podcast in itself because I'm basically saying I don't like classical music. I don't understand why that shit's still here. And what is it that you guys, the people at the Orlando Philharmonic, are doing to make sure that there are audiences for this? The fact that the Philharmonic has made me their official
I was just
podcast,
about to say that you guys are the official podcast of the Orlando Philharmonic. Harmonic.
that is that is to me the most interesting thing, because the one thing that this podcast has shown is that the Orlando Philharmonic, they have a sense of humor. It's not old and stuffy. They have a sense of humor. They're aware of the problems that they have, and they want to change them. So in that sense, it's not just I had a fluffy little podcast that for some reason, because of all my advertising and all my connections. No, Tenor and Toneless was never meant to succeed. It was a one and done. All our energy and hope was on What a Day Kids, which you will understand
Yeah.
is something really different and sensational. Honestly, I didn't think Tenor and Toneless was going to make it because it's such a stupid idea. Even my father was like, "What the hell are you doing?" But there it is. It kind of
I know it's sometimes like the one project where you think it's not all that, where actually it is more than what it is. It is more than what you see, and it's kind of like a post on TikTok. Someone posts the
exactly.
I don't want to say the dumbest thing, but like something that had little or no effort, and then boom, 2 million views, hundreds and thousands of likes, things like that. It just blows up. It goes viral. Something that was just genuine. And I think from what I heard when I heard Tenor and Toneless, you and Raphael had like a really, really genuine and organic conversations. And that's the one thing that like divides a lot of podcasts. Because here's the thing. I cannot stand, and this is the one thing that people love. People are infatuated with murder podcasts. I can't do that. I don't want to hear the retelling of someone's gruesome murder
No.
and the glorification of a serial killer. Right now, our society is so focused,
Fascinated on that. Yep.
fascinated, infatuated in a sense with all this murder hype.
Jeffrey Dahmer,
Thank you.
Dexter, Norman Bates. I mean, yeah, we've always had this attraction to good-looking killers. You
Yeah.
know, think about it. Women in particular are fascinated by good-looking serial killers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't get it, because at the same time, like, okay, you love this story, you love this character and how Hollywood portrays him, and it's not that he's a monster, it's that he's misunderstood and this and that. Okay, take that and like talk to the families
He's
uh,
a monster.
of the
Trust me.
victims.
Monster. Monster. All of them.
But getting off topic on that, I'm so sorry
But
about
I'm
that.
not a monster if that's what you're implying.
You're not a monster.
So
But like that, your podcast was genuine. Your podcast was real.
we had nothing to lose, Raphael and I, because like I said, it was a one and done. We did when we started this, we had no idea where this was going. And you're right. And this kind of puts pressure on me for season 2 because now I really have to deliver. See, it's a complete I'm yeah. Wow.
Yeah, you're under a lot of pressure.
At this point, yes.
But let me ask you this, and this is the one question I ask everybody.
Yeah.
Like, what's your drive? Because not only do you have the number 2 and the number 3 best podcasts, according to Orlando Magazine, the top podcaster, but also influencer in Winter Park. You got the Mills Gallery getting constant recognition for its place in the art community here in Orlando, and the list just goes on and on and on. Like, what's your drive?
I think I've been on your show before, and I was very honest. At the very beginning, I just wanted to be rich and famous, and I did every possible stunt that I could, including allowing a character based on me to appear in a series of erotic novels. I wore jackets by designer Daniel Shimovitz. I gave crazy interviews. But what happened is that with time, I actually started paying attention to what was going on in the community. I was in the art community. And, we've talked about this. In the art community, there is homelessness, there is financial devastation, alcoholism, drug addiction, suicide. And I was like, wow, this is not. It was hard for me to understand that I was trying to create a character named Boris that was all fun and cool in a situation that actually wasn't all that fun and cool.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a support system for the artist. And when COVID hit us, it was devastating.
Yeah.
So now I know at this point 2 people who live in cars, but at one point I knew 4 people who lived in cars. And I'm sure we've talked about this,
Yeah.
some people too. So the situation has gotten bad, So now my focus is how can I help artists
Mm-hmm.
and my career simultaneously so that we both stay honest. I don't want to sit here and tell you, oh, I've dedicated my life to everybody else. No, I've dedicated my life to other people, but my career as well. I like you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to apologize to that.
No, and I do get some shit from friends. I do. I don't want to call them friends anymore, but whether it's the competition, whether they're colleagues, people I meet through my networking, things like that, and I've gotten some criticism that I wasn't a fan of. But of course, if you're going to take you have to be welcoming to constructive criticism, because
Oh my God. Yeah.
one, they're going to be honest with you. They're going to tell you how they feel, and two, it's there to help you. It's there to build you even more. However, with your podcasts, with everything that you do, Boris, you're different. You're different with what you do, because here's the thing: I've produced well over 200 shows of chaos. God knows how many other shows that I've worked on in a total. Like, I think I put out maybe well over 350 podcasts in a span of 4 years. How many podcasts did you come out with last year?
7 episodes.
7 episodes. But you're getting the attention of more people. You're getting the attention of the higher ups. You're getting the attention of like the influencers, the content creators, because you're at the top of the list. And whether I'm doing something wrong or the other ones are doing wrong, I embrace and I glorify you because you were doing it right this whole time.
Thank you.
And I know it may come off a little bit rough at the beginning, but I had to because here's the thing.
Well, you set it up, you know.
I set it up because I had people breathing down my neck. And I'm sure I'm gonna get a heap from other podcasters like, why were you so soft on them? What the
But
hell?
what do you think they want to ask me? What
I
I
think
mean,
what the general podcast community wants to ask is why you? What makes you so special that other shows don't get the recognition that What A Day Kids or Tenor and Toneless get?
I asked Chris Fio that in an interview. I said to him, "Why do you think people are responding to you? What makes you so special?" And I will never forget his answer. He said, I'm just an average, lower middle class, blue collar guy that's not pretending to be smart. I'm talking to people and I'm asking questions that I want to ask, not that people think I should ask.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of what I'm doing. You know me enough to know that I don't play big or smart or powerful. I'm actually, like Chris was, completely awed by my success. I'm very grateful for the success, very grateful to Orlando Magazine, very grateful to Winter Park Magazine. I'm thrilled that I'm having this success, but I also give back immediately. Because where other people might say, why would you do this appearance? You're kind of kicking yourself in the balls. I think this is an opportunity to do something positive. You and I came up with a great idea,
Yeah.
and you tell me when we can share it because we're down to 7 minutes.
We're gonna get to that, and I'm just telling you from personal standpoint. When I saw the list, like I said, I didn't know I was even nominated to be recognized with some great content creators because Melissa Winston is ahead of her time.
100%. But Peter von Taborski, Tom and Dan, there are so many names. They are the people that came before us. They are the kings, queens. But if you're going to ask me why me, I think I was something different. Not
Mhm.
that they are not different, but I approached everything like a Hollywood movie. Every episode, I spent money and time and care. I had my guests professionally photographed for each episode. Do you guys do that?
Yeah,
Okay, I do. And I hired a filmmaker every once in a while to film some of the interviews. Do you guys do that?
no,
Okay. And therefore, not a lot of content, but the content was great.
yeah,
Let's put it that way.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Don't hate me.
we've talked off mic. We've talked, in person after this, and I remember coming to you and hugging you, of joy because like, dude, you got this. This was awesome. And of course, yeah, I had other people, throwing shit in my ear and stuff like that. And I want to address that because that's what was coming up to me. And I have, in a sense, a responsibility and an obligation to listeners and my peers
100%.
to address certain situations. I'm at a level right now where I produce shows, I create content, I am a professional because I get paid for what I do. And am I the greatest? No, I'm not. Am I the best in Central Florida? Am I the best in Florida itself, in Orlando? No, I'm not. I'm sure there are a handful of other people who can create better content than me, who have a better voice, who have a larger reach. But here's the one
But
thing.
you were nominated for Best Voice, right?
I was nominated for Best Voice. But here's the thing that separates me from other people. I actually give a damn about what I do.
That's why I'm here.
I give a damn about my clients. I give a damn about my obligations to my shows, to my listeners, to all my other ventures. And Boris, you know me, I'm not a boring dude. I am not a at home on the couch eating my tortilla chips and dip. No, I am constantly out. After this, I'm going to go host trivia at Graffiti Junction. I don't stop.
I think one of the things, Maxine Earhart, a friend of
Yeah.
both of us,
Love you,
her,
Maxine.
love you, and her restaurant is number one in Orlando.
Yeah.
Number one. What I have learned from her is that when you surround yourself with other people who are winning, who are humble, who understand the importance of even appearing on a list, much less being number one, and just being constantly grateful and not taking this for granted. And I know this is a bubble. This is all going to go away. So that's why I'm not only trying to enjoy this, but I want to be productive. And right now, both you and I know that a lot of podcasters are listening. I don't know if they're happy with what they heard, but you and I have a solution for this problem.
Yes. And this is where, and here's the thing, you don't have 6 minutes, you have 10 minutes because of the whole audio issue. Thank you, Leslie, for bringing that up. But go ahead.
What you and I decided was the problem was this. It wasn't like there was an Academy Awards where the members nominate other members and vote for those members. We don't have a podcasting academy in Orlando. Why don't we do that? Why don't we create one where podcasters in Orlando nominate other podcasters and vote for the podcasters? I offer my gallery, Mills Gallery, for the first year to hold the event there for free. I will also buy the awards because I found this great place that produces. Yeah, because I want this to be real. I don't want this to be chintzy. I want this to be the real thing. And then we'll take it further. And then no one can complain anymore. Because I think, and that would even be an interesting story for the media, because we took something that could have derailed and made it good. So I've been wanting to work with the Podcasting Academy for several reasons, Podcasting Society here in Orlando for several reasons. I want us to get together to honor Chris Fio, but this is an important thing. This might give us an edge over other cities.
On top of that, and not to take away the light from Chris Fio, because he was a great individual, but we also lost another fellow podcaster over the past year, and that was Anthony Smith from Entering the Black Hole, who had a huge push in the podcast community, great following, but no, without a shadow of a doubt, Chris Fio was an incredible content creator, taken way too early.
And Chris and Anthony worked together.
Chris and Anthony did work together.
Each other, and let me ask you this: how did people in your community, in the podcasting community, feel about Chris's success?
It was mixed feelings as well. It really was. And I remember hearing what the hell? Who's Chris Fio? I remember hearing that. I'm like, oh shit, you don't know. And I'm not gonna lie, it rubbed me a bit the wrong way when I first saw that he'd gotten the place that he did, because I was like he only did 6 shows.
No, 23 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying with that year.
Oh yeah. That's true. By the time he got nominated, there were only 6 episodes.
There were only 6 episodes, and I think by that time I had a little bit over 100. Now, maybe my content wasn't as great as Fio's, but here's the thing. Yeah, Fio it was an experience when you listen to that show.
Listen, season 2 of his show was going to start with an interview with Lucy Arnaz, the daughter of Lucille Ball. I mean, come on. Even I haven't been able to pull that off yet, So he had an amazing, easygoing personality. There were rough spots. I liked the rough spots because I think that's what gave him the edge. Like he said,
it did.
He was a lower middle class, blue collar guy that just wanted to talk to people his way.
Mm-hmm.
And but what do you think about creating a podcasting academy? Now that I'm thinking,
I'm totally for it. I'm totally for it. Being able to sit down with fellow podcasters, and believe me, this idea, I don't want to say it's the first time I've heard it, but something as structured as that is the first time I've heard. But in regards to bringing the community more and more together and not excluding anybody is what I want to do.
How do we do this? What's the next step?
The next step, there we go. I like the idea of a podcast community right there. Maxine's putting it up there. We got to start talking with more and more podcasters.
Can they? So if anybody's listening that wants to be part of us, how do you want to do this?
So right now, and I was actually, I'm not ready to launch just yet, but therealchaosnetwork.com is the website where I'm going to be putting all the shows that I do. The site is not alive just yet because I'm building this on top of producing shows, being on the radio, working at a law firm, hosting trivia, hosting bingo, all that shit. I'm trying and balancing a relationship. Love you, Ani. There's so much that I have to do, but the launch of the website is coming soon. But in the meantime, if you want to be part of this, follow our Instagrams, follow our social media, message us directly. You got Boris Garbe on Facebook.
You can find me on Facebook, or you can write to Mills Gallery at millsgalleryorlando@gmail.com, millsgalleryorlando@gmail.com, and just let the headline be podcasting,
Yeah.
or you contact me through Facebook. Let's do this, because I mean, this is an opportunity to take this semi-ugly situation and turn it into something positive. Um, what I want to say about Orlando Magazine and other magazines like that, these magazines have the best intentions,
Yes.
because they want to showcase us to the rest of the world, you know. And so for me, this was a dangerous situation, because I don't want to upset anybody who nominated me and won for me. But I see kind of the issue very clearly, you know, and I'd rather not have the entire Orlando podcasting community hate me, which it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good, you know.
Yeah. When they're talking behind your back, it's because you're ahead of them.
Still doesn't feel good. Still doesn't feel good.
But here's the thing, Boris, and anyone who is in this kind of business or in this kind of industry knows that this is true. If you don't have haters, you're not doing it right.
That's what you told Melissa. What did you say? Shout out to the haters.
Shout out to the haters. Yeah, keep on hating, because believe me, the more you hate, the more I'm going to keep doing, and the more I'm going to continue to grow.
Although I want to point out, if you could stop the hate for a little bit and entertain this idea, let's do this. I'll have Maxine cater the event. How's that? Maxine, are you listening? And we'll make it classy, and we'll have Rafael Cavero sing. We'll class it up. You know, I mean,
we'll
how
class it up.
can this not give us an edge as a city?
No, and right now, I mean, I saw the best of the city this past weekend at the Orlando Pride Parade, the Orlando Pride Festival, and it was beautiful. I was there with my girlfriend. I was there with her daughter, and we had a blast. And I want to mention something that it touched my heart so much. Her daughter is 6 years old. When we were driving up to the festival, my girlfriend and I were like, we were excited because we're going to have a good time. We're going to get out for a little bit, just be out there. And as we're walking, there was a family that we'd seen this family who was kind of like pulling their kids to the side. And we're like, well, that's odd. We went in. My girlfriend started asking me, what does that flag stand for? What does that flag stand for? And of course, I showed her. I'm like, this stands for this stands for that. And we had such a great time, because I had not in a long, and believe me, I'm trying to say this in the most positive way possible. There was so much love and positivity that weekend that I, honest to God, forgot about all my troubles. I forgot about podcasting. I forgot about networking. I forgot about a lot of things. I was just embraced in the love and respect that Orlando showed to the community and showed the world. And my girlfriend's daughter was having so much fun. At no point did she ask any questions. At no point did she feel weird. At no point did we feel like this is inappropriate for kids. Later on, someone had asked me, because I posted on the media, that do you think the Pride Parade was an appropriate place to take a child?
Oh, you got shit for that?
Yeah, it's fine. No, I got shit for that. And I said it, and I told them it's that kind of attitude that continues to fuel the hate and fuel the divide.
Yeah, Orlando. What you're saying is, after the Pulse tragedy, we got our shit together. We certainly did, and we have taken this terrible event, and we honor the victims, and we honor the people that came out, like Patty Sheehan, and just where it was like a mother bear to her community.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to draw parallels here in any way or form, but Orlando is known for pulling itself together when it has to. And I think the podcasting community, we have a fantastic opportunity here to not just be separate little islands, but to come together as a big group and maybe help causes, charities, events, whatever, as a force. And then we can educate young podcasters or help podcasters that are established. I mean, this is kind of like what you and I are experiencing right now. We're experiencing success, but I've learned that if you help other people while you are at your most successful, you have a tendency to stay a little longer on stage.
Yes, that 100% agreed. Um, I had a conversation with a colleague of mine that we were supposed to start working together, and they had noticed that I have become busy. And I do admit I hadn't given them the attention that they needed because I was under the impression, hey, I showed you what I needed to show you and you were good. But at the same time, just because your tree is bearing fruit doesn't mean you still can't give it attention. It doesn't need your attention anymore.
I like that analogy. I'm literally offering the fruit. I'm offering you the opportunity of using my gallery for free. I will help with the planning. Maxine will cater. Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Let's do this because seriously, may I say this as my final moment? It hurts being criticized, and I am probably in the wrong profession because I'm thin-skinned. I take things personally. Yeah, I've been driven to tears by things, but I have to say I wasn't happy when Melissa started getting backlash. Because one thing is you and I.
Yeah.
Melissa is so new to this, had no idea that people wouldn't be happy for her. So that wasn't cool, but we can turn this around. We can make this into a positive. So let's do that. That's my plea to the podcasting community. Let's do it.
I feel that like by the end of this year, we can have something, at least the foundation built.
Well,
to get
I'm going to
going.
work on it, and like I said, I wish okay, now I don't want to get in trouble. What would you consider the bigger names here in the podcasting community?
Of course,
I
it would be up to them to want to be part of this, but at the same time, it would show their humble side if they'd be willing to help out the little guys. I don't consider myself a little guy anymore. I don't consider myself a small time podcaster in Orlando. I consider myself a big name. I consider
we're legit now. Apparently,
we're legit now.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I feel that like if the bigger heads, the ones that have that huge following, that have that huge market, hey, listen, if you started off in Orlando, help out those in Orlando as well.
Let me give you a good analogy. I run Mills Gallery. I was a little gallery. I had no idea what I was doing. I was honest from the get-go. I don't know how to run a gallery. The other main galleries here in Orlando all embraced me, all met with me, all told me what to do, all told me what not to do. If the gallery world, the art world can do it, we should really, by definition, as podcasters, because we talk with people for a living, we should be able to do this.
Yeah. And we can, and we will. And with that being said, Boris, I know we're short on time, but in your community, in the art world, there was a big loss this past week, and when I saw it, like it didn't say it clearly, but like the words, once you added it all up, we had lost someone. So go ahead.
So we lost. I'm sorry, shit. We lost Harold Gart, who was a mentor, a friend, a great artist. He changed Marla E's in my career. He embraced my little gallery, and it became his home gallery for the final 3 years. Marla and I are producing. Oh, you've not had Marla on. You got to have Marla on one of these days. Marla E, who's a well-known local artist here in Orlando, in the world, really, because her art has been in movies and books and stuff like that. We produced a podcast, a short podcast for him, just 10 episodes called Harold Gart Unfiltered, which we also filmed. So we've got that. So these are 10 episodes of Harold Gart at 98 and 99, talking about all subjects in the world. So it makes me happy that I'm part of his legacy, continuing his legacy, because he was a cool man and we were able to show that. But Harold Gart was 99. He lived a full life and he will be greatly missed.
And I was fortunate enough to see a lot of his art at your gallery.
Did you get to meet him, by the way?
I never got to meet him.
Damn it.
And I blame myself on that one, that I didn't pursue that one a lot more, because you were telling me, hey, you should meet this guy, and unfortunately, I lost the opportunity right there to meet such a great artist that had such a huge following, was an incredibly talented.
He would have loved to be on the show. He would have loved your line of questioning because, he gave Juan Pablo Santaluna and me some brilliant advice. And I will end with this because I think this is really good advice. It applies to you. It applies to all of us who are psychologically on stage.
Mhm.
And he told Juan and me, if you're going to do this, if you're going to interview people, talk to people, do things in the public eye, be entertaining. Don't make people feel like they lost those 10 minutes, half an hour, an hour. When they're on their way back in the car, the conversation should be, oh my God, that was fascinating,
Yeah.
as opposed to, that's not happening again. And I've kind of tried to be as entertaining and real and honest as I can. Coming on your show is an opportunity to help the Orlando podcasting community. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Boris, thank you so much for taking time
Thank you.
to sit down with me and just chatting. Because honest to God, thank you for letting me vent on behalf of the Orlando podcast community on this one. And I look forward to bridging the gap
Please
with
help
the
me with
Orlando
that.
podcast community.
Please, we can do this.
So that being said, if you got something to say, don't be afraid to say it. This is Patricio with the one-on-ones signing out. I'll see you guys later on.